This is going to be a very personal video for me. I see the potential in individuals around me, and I look at people as what they can be oftentimes rather than what they are. And I think that's important for us as human beings to understand that people aren't just people, they're potential. They have unlocked abilities inside of them. And I think that's something that's very, very important for us to speak about. And this video right now is going to show how I think the left wing in this country is destroying the potential of who we can be as people by destroying and hating the very thing that brings us potential at a very basic level. Let's cue my music and get into this. So the metropolitan left has decided that children are nothing more than a burden, and that eliminating children allows for the freedom of women. For some reason, the freedom of women in our society is constantly linked to destroying another part of our society, whether it be men, the family, children, responsibility, law, order, finances, capitalism, whatever it might be. Our entire society must be destroyed so that we can hand freedom to women. And for me, I always believe that individuals should be judged on an individual basis, right? And everybody should be responsible for their actions as they see fit. And I believe that every human being has a place and every human being has a purpose. Even if that purpose is nothing more than to be cannon fodder for the war machine that oftentimes is a necessity to protect us from others who wish to take our resources or abilities. And I'm not talking about these bullshit wars of aggression that we have right now. I'm talking about actual wars. To protect our homeland, to protect our species, to protect our society, to protect the individuals around us. It is important for us to understand that everyone around us has a purpose and a place. Everyone around us has some role to play inside of society. And I remember I was working at this factory when I was younger. I was probably like 21, 22. I was all chiseled and Vin Diesel looking. And I was talking to this black dude named Theodore, right? And this man here, he was as young as I was, but he was as learned as any individual I'd ever met. I looked at him, you know what I'm saying? And I said, why do we have to keep doing this? And he said, because the world's always going to need ants. And that's some honest shit. The world needs individuals around us who are willing to do the work that some people aren't willing to do. The world needs individuals to work in the factories and the mills and to plow the fields and to drive the trucks and the forklifts, to move the boxes, to stand here and stock your shelves. The world needs these people to continue to function. And this is why I say we must respect our lower class, our middle class, our working class of Americans, because America is basically completely made up of that. And in respecting that, we must respect the culture of these people. We must respect the values of these individuals. And to continue to have the metropolitan class in this fucking country, from New York and LA and Brooklyn and Manhattan, to continue to push agendas that the rest of us aren't comfortable with, to shove it into our fucking faces on a regular basis, is patently disrespectful. Because oftentimes what works for those who live a more privileged life, a more socialist life, a more bourgeoisie life, doesn't work for those who have to work for a living every day and get their hands dirty. And this is why we are where we are right now. Because everybody thinks that they should go to college and be some engineering phenomenon, or go to college and go to school for underwater basket weaving and become this type of person. So with that being said, let's look at our first clip as evidence as to why the left has completely lost their mind and hates fucking children and the society around us.
On the law that they are pushing, that it is legal this day to provide abortion services to a woman who is signed off by a doctor for medical reasons to receive an abortion as late as 40 weeks. Could be literally a day before labor begins, because if it is a threat to the mother's life, and if it is a threat to the mother's health, and it is a function of the viability of the child. And here is Northam, and it was fascinating. I barely saw this, but he does this interview, and this was spun by the right as saying that Northam says it's okay to kill children after to kill children who are born.
It's strange how that works, ain't it? You know what I'm saying? When you say that you're going to kill a fucking child after it comes out of the fucking vagina and it's alive, you're going to sit down and have a conversation about motherfucking killing it. It's weird that, you know what I mean, the right done spun that as some strange ass fucking conversation. But let's keep going.
And here is that interview, and then we'll talk more about it.
No exception. There was a very contentious committee hearing yesterday when Fairfax County Delegate Tran made her case for lifting restrictions on third trimester abortions, as well as other restrictions now in place. And she was pressed by a Republican delegate about whether her bill would permit an abortion even as a woman is essentially dilating, ready to give birth. And she answered that it would permit an abortion at that stage of labor. Do you support her measure, and explain her answer?
Yeah, and I wasn't there, Julie, and I certainly can't speak for Delegate Tran, but I would tell you, first thing I would say, this is why decisions such as this should be made by providers, physicians, and the mothers and fathers that are involved.
Now, let's not get anything misunderstood here, all right? The fathers are not involved in any of these fucking conversations at all. This is literally about the woman's health, and the father has no part in this decision at all right? Even though, like, the baby's fucking born, the baby's there alive. The father has a right to custody. He still has no right to tell the woman whether or not the baby fucking lives or dies, because she can murder it at that point.
There are, when we talk about third trimester abortions, these are done with the consent of obviously the mother, with the consent of the physicians, more than one physician, by the way. And it's done in cases where there may be severe deformities, there may be a fetus that's non-viable. So in this particular example, if a mother is in labor, I can tell you exactly what would happen. The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mother. So,
you notice how fast the father got dropped out of that goddamn conversation? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, between the physician and the mother. You know what I mean? Like, there's no dad involved in that fucking conversation whatsoever motherfucking ever. Infants laying there alive in a thing, and then we're going to have a conversation about whether or not we murdered a fucking baby. And that's what that is. This is not abortion. This is whether or not we murder a fucking child. It's what this is really about.
So I think this was really blown out of proportion. But again, we want the government not to be involved in these types of decisions. We want the decision to be made by the mothers and their providers. And this is why, Julie, that legislators, most of whom are men, by the way, shouldn't be telling a woman what she should and shouldn't be doing with her body.
Well, let's keep this all the way 100. All right. One of my kids was born. I have fucking 5 fucking children. One of them was born at 6 months. My little brother was born at fucking 6 months. My other little brother was born at 7 months. And yes, they spent some time in the NICU. And yes, it cost money to an insurance company, but it was to a private insurance company because I had private fucking insurance. So the fucking government didn't have to fucking pay for it. And I understand the mentality that, you know, everybody goes, well, it costs fucking money to keep a baby alive. But again, I go, well, it costs money to keep your ass alive. You got hit by a fucking bus. All right. These are people. They're not just fucking zygotes or clusters of cells. These are fucking people at this point. This is a potential human being. All right. That could cure cancer. He could be a criminal, yes, but he could cure cancer just as easily. The majority of individuals who fucking are billionaires right now were born fucking in poverty in America. All right. The vast majority, it's like 60% of all billionaires in America didn't go to fucking college. All right. They all came from, a bunch of them came from other countries, which they were vastly different types of poverty than America's accustomed to. We're talking barefoot walking to fucking work at 6 years old. Whole different type of individuals. This is a whole different fucking thing. And the reason why the government should be involved is because the government does 3 or 4 fucking things in the Constitution, the very first lines of fucking to preserve life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Life being that main part right there. You have the right to be alive if you're born. You don't get killed just because of the color of your skin, your fucking gender, your motherfucking handicaps. You don't get fucking murdered in America because of that. Because all men are created equal and we're all born free. It's a basic premise of America. I'm not a huge fan of the government. I'm a libertarian. I don't like the government. But at bare minimum, it should be protecting the rights of our citizens to exist. To exist. You shouldn't be murdered. You should not be murdered as a citizen of the United States. Jesus fucking Christ. This is basics.
And do you think multiple physicians should have to weigh in as is currently required? She's trying to lift that requirement.
Well, I think it's always good to get a second opinion and for at least 2 providers to be involved in that decision, because these decisions shouldn't be taken lightly. And so, you know, I would certainly support more than 1 provider.
All right.
You know what the real bitch is? Even though this shit is completely indefensible to any human being with a fucking conscience, you know what I'm saying? Any person in the world who has any type of empathy in their fucking body could not defend this shit. Legitimately, you could not fucking defend this to anyone. There's no goddamn way you could defend this if you're a decent fucking human being. They still somehow found a bitch to go on TV and defend this shit to other people.
Monica Klein is a founding partner at Seneca Strategy. She joins us today. Monica, thanks a lot for coming on. Yeah. I'm sure you describe yourself as pro-choice. I bet a lot of people watching right now think of themselves as pro-choice. So I'm not attacking you for that. But I wonder what you think of what Dr. Northam, the governor of Virginia, just said, that when a child, he described the child as an infant, is born, there's a point where the mother and the physician can decide whether to kill the infant or not. What do you think of that?
Look, Tucker, I understand that you want to go back to a time where Roe v. Wade was illegal, where women were having back alley abortions, and they were using coat hangers to have abortions, which is actually what's barbaric.
I'm giving you...
Legitimately, I know a bitch who looks just like this, you know what I'm saying? And like, yo, she used to tell me she used to like to have dudes spit on her, and then she'd take a spoon and like rub the spit all across the fucking face. And every time I see this goddamn clip, I can't help but think of that shit. I just wanted to throw that in.
Time to make a real argument. I'm not arguing for the repeal of Roe v. Wade. I'm a very straightforward person.
That is what you're essentially saying.
Actually, no, that's not what I'm arguing. And please don't be tiresome. The governor of Virginia, who's a rising star in the Democratic Party, just said this. There's pending legislation that mirrors it, and I'm asking you what you think of it. That's it. I'm not here to debate Roe v. Wade.
I think that right now, reproductive health care is under attack by the Republican Party. 72% of Americans support the right to choose, and yet we have Trump and we have sexual predator Kavanaugh trying to repeal Roe v. Wade and trying to take away our control over our own bodies. This isn't about...
I mean, even if reproductive health was under motherfucking fire, like if it was under fucking attack, legitimately, I don't think that, you know what I'm saying, fucking this is the point where individuals would attack. You know what I mean? Like, legitimately, like reproductive health, like I'm pretty sure that means, you know, like gynecologist visits, you know, fucking pap smears, birth control, things of this nature. And nobody's talking about taking that shit away. You know what I mean? But, you know, fucking apparently reproductive health means your ability to kill babies. Like, is that the situation? Is that what the fuck you're really actually talking about? You know what I mean? Like, yo, goddamn, I don't know how much longer I can listen to this bitch.
Babies, this isn't about healthcare. This is about you attempting to control women's bodies.
Okay, please don't be a robot. Monica, you're smarter than that. This is the governor of Virginia just saying this. I just want to know what you think of it. Is that okay? Does that bother you? It's a sincere question. This just happened.
Okay, it bothers me that you are attempting to control women's bodies. That's what you're doing.
All right, I've fucking had enough of listening to this goddamn bitch. Now let's move on to the next motherfucking segment. All right, now let's look at something else completely, right? You know, I've said remotely what I'm gonna say on this. You know what I mean? Other than the fact that, like, murder shouldn't be legal just because you have a vagina. I don't care about your mental state. I don't give a fuck about how much it's gonna aggravate you to have a fucking kid. Again, we all have purpose, all right? All of us have a reason why we're here, okay? Men, as in general statement, have responsibility for their fucking country. They have a responsibility for their nation. That's what men do. That's what men are for, all right? They're here to keep the wolves at bay. They're here to be the individuals who are relied upon to run societies. They're here to be the individuals who actually create the structures for societies. It's why you don't find feminists fighting for the rights of women to be fucking sewage workers. Men tend to make society work. If there was a national fucking, you know what I mean, man's day off, society would come crashing to a fucking halt. They had a women's day off and nothing fucking happened. You know why? Because life tends to go on when y'all don't go to work. You know what I mean? Sort of like there ain't gonna be as many nurses as fucking necessary. Which, you know me, we need nurses, and I'm fucking fine with that. I don't have a problem with your role being fulfilled by you, and I'm cool with that. And I love y'all, and y'all are amazing. And I love pussy. It's fucking the best shit ever. All right? You know what I mean? Like, I've done some amazing things in my day. And I mean, I've driven some amazing cars, and I mean, I've eaten some fucking food that most people don't get a chance to eat. And, you know, I've been out in fucking rivers in the middle of a fucking, just a place where, you know what I mean, men haven't stepped foot on this island for hundreds of years. And I'm sitting here and I'm looking at things as my ancestors look at them, and it's a beautiful thing. All of this, far, far second to pussy. It just is what it is. But now, with that being said, men have a purpose. Men have a reason. Men are supposed to be something. And let's look at how the left is deciding to destroy that purpose for men.
And if you haven't heard the name Desmond Annapolis, get ready for this trailblazing 11-year-old drag kid who RuPaul is calling the future. His bravery is inspiring so many. We're going to talk to him in just a moment, but first, let's take a look at his amazing story.
I am Desmond. I'm 11 years old, and I like pizza, trains, and drinking root beers that's caffeine-free. I also do drag, and I love to put on makeup, dresses, and wigs, and of course, jewelry is necessary. My full drag name is Desmond is Amazing. I feel very happy to have a mom that accepts me.
It really touches me deeply that there are other children out there that he's reaching and they're listening to him and he's influencing.
All right. If no one else is going to say it, I'm going to say it. All right. That dude, I don't know who that dude is, but he looks rapey as fuck on some real shit. There are certain people who should not breed, and I do believe that dude might fall into this goddamn category. Secondly, what type of parent lets their fucking 11-year-old child be sexualized in this fucking nature? What the fuck am I watching right now, and why is Michael Strahan announcing it?
Them to be themselves.
I'm very proud of him. I'm proud that he's found his path so early.
My greatest joy in this is just seeing Desmond happy.
I love doing drag because it makes me feel amazing and self-expressive. It just feels amazing to know that people love what I do. My one big message would be 3 words: be yourself always.
Please welcome Desmond Annapolis, a.k.a. Desmond is amazing. How you doing?
Thanks for being here. I love that you love root beer, caffeine free. I can get on board with that.
My mom doesn't like me drinking caffeine.
Does it make you hyper?
Take a good look, America. All right, take a good look at what it is that California and New York is pushing on your fucking children. All right, take a damn good look and let me know if this is something that you're fucking comfortable with. Just take a fucking minute. I'll give you a fucking second. All right. Made up your mind? Yeah, I think I have too.
Yeah, me too. They don't like when I drink caffeine either. But Desmond, you're one of the youngest and first drag queen/kids. And I've heard that you've gotten messages from young adults who look up to you for being who you are. What are some of the notes you've gotten?
All right, I'm fucking done with this fucking bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Fucking let's move on to the next thing. You know what I mean? Let's talk about what our jobs are as parents, as adults, as human beings, as individuals responsible for our fucking society. What is our job? Our job is to protect the motherfucking weak of the individuals around me. All right? Your job is to stand here and make sure that people around you who can't defend themselves are fucking defended and that they're not harmed in any real actual fucking way. So let's look at what, the fucking court system is goddamn doing right now.
Kansas Judge Michael Gibbons under fire tonight after reducing the sentence of a man who pleaded no contest to soliciting a 13 and 14-year-old, saying the young girls are partly to blame. In court transcripts obtained by NBC News, Gibbons says, "I do find that the victims in this case in particular were more an aggressor than a participant," saying the girls went to 67-year-old Raymond Soden's house voluntarily and took money for sex acts. The judge then sentenced Soden to just 5 years and 10 months, 8 years less than Kansas sentencing guidelines.
That's right. That's right. You know what I'm saying? God damn it. Fucking Jesus. Goddamn fucking Christ. Like, I don't legitimately, honestly, really fucking know, like, what the situation really is. But here's the deal. If you're a 63-year-old dude, you are more than old enough to know better that you shouldn't be fucking a 14-year-old. Legitimately. Like, I don't give a fuck, like, what anybody says. I don't give a fuck if a bitch gets naked to fuck in front of you. You don't fuck a 14-year-old goddamn child. Speaking of which, let's look at the next fucking clip.
With a firm step, Alexandria Vera made her way into the 209th Criminal Court. The 25-year-old pled guilty to aggravated sexual assault of a child. In a plea deal, prosecutors agreed to cap the sentence at 30 years with a chance at deferred adjudication. She had faced continuous sexual assault of a child that has a maximum of life in prison and no chance of probation. According to court documents, Vera had sex almost daily with her student for 9 months. She became pregnant by the 8th grader, whose parents knew about and supported the relationship. When authorities learned about the situation, CPS began investigating, and Vera had an abortion. She told investigators she and the teenager, quote, love each other. Vera is out on a $100,000 bond pending her sentencing in January. Her defense attorney hopes she will get deferred adjudication, meaning no prison time, but there would be a long list of conditions.
Is there anything more to really say at this fucking point? You know what I'm saying? The leftist education system allowing fucking teachers to stand here and fuck their goddamn students. These college educated underwater basket weeding lesbian fucking dance therapy fucking broads sitting here fucking their students. Legit. Is there really anything more to fucking say? Legit. 8th grade. 8th fucking grade. That's 13 fucking years old. For 9 months, she was fucking a 13-year-old child. I'm going to say that again. A 13-year-old child. I understand as a kid, as a boy, as a teenage boy, I was fucking older women. I feel you, all right? I was probably, 15, 16, banging 26, 27-year-olds. But you know what they weren't? They weren't fucking teachers. All right, legitimately, they weren't fucking teachers. Again, the left fucking wants to destroy children and doesn't give a fuck about them. Or else they be raising fucking hell about this type of shit on a regular basis. Feminists would be standing here going, bitch, you are responsible for your motherfucking actions. Just like me, as a right-wing individual, as a conservative, have no issue looking at an individual who fucks a kid, no matter who the fuck they are, and go, you're a piece of garbage, and I hope you die in the worst way fucking possible. Because that's what you do when you have fucking principles and when you're consistent with your ideology. It's a basic fucking thing. But anyway, man, look here, this is Tom Pease with Pinoy News. Y'all know the fucking deal. All right? Enjoy your fucking day. Peace.